My name is Kerry Todd, and probably by your viewing you can tell where I did most of my student ministry in the great state of Texas. Been serving in student ministry since 1995, and either part-time ministry on staff or full-time ministry. That's what I did up until 2007. And for the past little over a year now, been serving as a volunteer in charge of a program of a church start, and enjoying doing ministry with these kids here in Tennessee. Using music and media, it's a great way to minister to kids, but when I take them to concerts or let them listen to CDs, one of the things that I'm always interested in is I want to know where that artist stands with the Lord. I'm always interested in wanting to know how they came to know Christ. How long have they known Christ? Were they like me and they grew up in a Christian home, or were they just radically saved from a pretty crazy life? And we're all part of God's family, but it's always interesting to see how people come to know Christ, and that is very true with the artists. And I've always wanted my students to know where these artists have come from. It's a chance for me to get to know the heart of the artist, and it's a chance for me to get to see if student ministry was any kind of an impact on that artist and them coming to know Christ. I know several artists. I've heard their testimony, and student ministry was a direct result of them coming to know who Christ was in their life, and here they are today, and they're doing ministry by serving the Lord and creating music that ministers to students. And then I'm always interested in wanting to know when they are actually playing a show and doing their set. Does ministry take place at their concerts or wherever they might be? So those are some of the things that I want to know as a student minister, so that I can pass those along to my students, because when I give that music to that student, there's a parent in the background somewhere, and if they're playing either the hard stuff or the soft stuff, that parent, there's a good possibility that they're going to hear it or hear of it, and I want to be able to tell the parent that I sign off on it. And in regards to that, we've been able to get you an incredible clip from Sonny with POD that, he's kind of a heavier-edged music, but he has an amazing testimony, and it's things like this that help us to know we can pass this music on to the students.
Same haze, I'm still caught in my same ways. I'm losing time in these strange days, but somehow I always know the right things to say.
I know we've had a good time just talking and praying here to begin with. Sonny, would you just start and share a little of your background and your story, so Toby and the rest of us here have a feel for that, and then we'll turn the favor.
Almost time to
Oh, go, bro.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
I wasn't raised in a Christian home. Came from a Catholic background. Very, very young family. Still partying and doing their thing, just being young kids, and they had kids, back in the day. I try to wrap it up because there's just so much in detail, but Wov, who's the drummer in our band, his father at the time was, and my father as well. My mother and father were divorced, but his family was still together, and just anything from selling drugs to just getting into trouble nonstop. People, coming in the house with guns looking for drugs and looking for him, and just crazy stuff. So as kids, you see that, and at some point this is not normal, Coming from a dysfunctional family, we also came from a family of, like I said, from Italian background, island background, so lots of love in the family, but, as little kids, you still knew that something wasn't right. But anyways, my uncle and my aunt had split up, and he went off and in his own world, basically on the verge of suicide. God led him to a church, a San Diego church. Mike McIntosh, the old Horizon in a theater downtown.
Know him well.
That's right, man. And anyways, the Lord spoke to his heart and basically challenged him, and he ended up giving his life to the Lord. And at that point, he had come back to the family and said, I'm born again, I'm living for Jesus, and they just thought he was on drugs, and but basically he said, just watch. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna win back my family, and I'm gonna share the love of the Lord with my family. And so they were separated, and one by one. I mean, he would come and get Wov and I, and Wov at an early age gave his life to the Lord, and basically God restored his marriage with my aunt, and it just started trickling down. They all started seeing it, not just hearing it.
Right.
They weren't, no one had to preach to them, or no one had to kind of shove it in their face. They saw a guy that was desperate and was on one extreme, all of a sudden become this man of God, and so that changed their lives. And then, like I said, one by one, my mother, it just moved down the family. But through our teenage years, right out of high school, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, leukemia. And at that time, I always believed in the Lord, coming from a Catholic family. Never had doubts in who Jesus was. Was never questioning, who was God. It was just more or less about living it, and believing in the truth. And anyways, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and 8 months later she would go and be with the Lord. But through that whole time, I got a chance to really watch her live her faith and trust in God and believe in Him. And it was real, because I knew that, she was sick, and that's what she loved, her family, but I knew that, her love for God was enormous, And one day I came home, and I just maybe got off work and went and got high with my friends, and I came back, and she sat me down kind of with this authority and told me that she just said, "Son, I know you lost your first love." And she's like, when I die, I want to know that you and your sisters are going to be in heaven with me. And I stopped her and I said, "Don't talk like that, Mom. That's crazy." And she said, "No, when I die," she was in remission at the time. She said, "I need to know that. I need to have that peace in my heart." And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, whatever, don't worry about it. Whatever you want me to do." And she's like, "Come to Harvest Crusade with me." And it happened to be in San Diego like that week. And I was like, whatever makes you happy, whatever eases your heart, And so we went, I went to church with her a few times. And, again, I've always believed in the Lord. It was more or less at that time, just walking it and doing it for real, not just saying it. And anyways, I shared this story with you a couple weeks ago, but I happened to go to a Crucified show in Somas, and at this time Crucified was huge.
Yeah.
And I remember they were up there, and I just wasn't really into this kind of music. I would just go there with my friends to get into the pit and just hit people and go crazy and have fun. I mean, it was, I'll get hit back. It was all fun.
Right.
But I remember at the end of the show, they always ended with this anthem, and it was called "United by Christ." And they would sing it, and then there was just a handful of people in the audience that were singing it, but it was loud, and I would kind of step to the back, and I remember thinking, man, I should be singing this song with these guys, because I believe, but maybe it was just my shame that didn't allow me to worship with these guys,